Have you ever wondered about the tragedies that have occurred in Grayslake? As Grayslake is a small town, many residents believe that they can escape everyday tragedies. However, this is not the case. On January 17, 1974, the town experienced a tragedy that would change people's lives forever. 4 men were repairing the sewer system at Hillside and 2nd Street near Grayslake Central High School when overcome by toxic gas. Each man went into the sewer to save his fellow worker, but the fumes were too strong and all 4 men died. At this time, health codes were not in place, and people all around the community helped out wherever they could. Wayne Alisi was only 21 years old when he perished, along with his cousin, Tommy Joe Duncan. Alisi was the maintenance engineer of Grayslake and a volunteer at the Grayslake Fire Department. His cousin, Tommy Joe Duncan, was a Vietnam veteran who served in the United States Marine Corps and was just 26 when he died. He worked as the waterworks superintendent of Grayslake and as a police patrolman. The third man's name was John G. Hartle from Lindenhurst, who worked as a part-time Grayslake policeman. He was 46 when he died, trying to save his fellow men. The fourth man to die was named James O'Peck, and he worked as the maintenance superintendent of Grayslake for over 12 years. In addition to serving in the Korean War for the U.S. Army, he also was a member of the Grayslake Fire Department and was 40 when he died. Because none of the men were able to escape, analysts of the tragedy can only guess how the men were positioned. Based on their stances and elevations in the sewer hole, the men most likely died of asphyxiation and could not be saved in time. Today, the men are remembered with plaques placed around Grayslake. One of them is on the corner of Hillside and 2nd Street near Grayslake Central High School. In order to understand the implications of this event fully, we visited the Grayslake Fire Department for some help.
It impacts them in a lot of ways where they're emotionally stressed and they want to prevent it from happening in the future, and they don't want the death of their friend or their relatives to be in vain, so they want to know answers. And it usually takes a big long investigation to do that, but it stresses the whole community. They looked at their internal organization inside and out at all their safety protocols, and years ago firemen showed up and they did dangerous things, and today we do dangerous things, but we also recognize the safety of it, and we have to pay attention to that so we don't start killing our guys. It's a whole lot different. We've got a whole lot more technological advances than they did then. Our standard operating protocol at this time is anytime we have an underground incident or confined space incident, we automatically monitor it first. It's the first thing we do. We drop an electronic monitor in there to check the oxygen level and check any kind of hazardous material. So if there's any kind of toxins in there, they'd know it before they went in. We hope we don't have to honor anymore, but we tend to remember the days kind of inside the organization those things happen. I think it means more to us just to remember those on the day it happened, and treat them each individually inside our community here. So, our communities, we got about 30,000 people in our fire district. So they tend to get thinking that we live in a small community, nothing bad can ever happen. So we use this a lot of times in training and tell them, listen, it can happen. These guys were on the fire department. They knew what they were doing. They were professionals, and it happened to them. It's a learning event. It's also something that, they're brother firefighters to us. So one thing we always talk about firefighters is never forget. We never forget what happened to them, and we never will. So,
while this tragedy did affect the community as a whole, the event shaped how professionals in our area handle stressful situations. It is important to learn from these experiences in order to honor the memory of those who died and prevent further deaths in the future.